list. Sona S+, Teemo is illegal for obvious reasons. But let's just look at the notes, okay? Let's just look at these changes. Because you can see that like Lillia got nerfed, Maokai got nerfed, Ivor got nerfed, Viego got nerfed, Rumble, it's kind of a jungler, got nerfed as well. Jarvan got a buff, Xin Zhao got a buff, Viego got a buff. So we can just look at the jungle change, right? So we can start with Jarvan. 1% actually is actually not bad. Okay, let's say a red buff has like 3k HP, right? 1% is like, you know, not too shabby, it's like 30 damage. And on champs as well, right? And Jarvan, if you play against immobile champions, he's for sure S+. And regarding Jax, because Xin Zhao got buffed, I can see people starting to play Xin Zhao, and Jax is good in Xin Zhao. So in the right situations, this champion can actually be really good. And let's see. The rest is like Lillia. So a lot of people ask me whether Lillia is dead or not. Honestly, I played 2 Lillia games and the clear doesn't even feel that bad. I think it's completely fine, by the way. That is not a problem. The sleep, I mean, is basically essentially like a 0.25 nerf at level 11, which is like sucks, but the champion is still good because of like the items. Since Leandre didn't get nerfed, Riftmake didn't get nerfed, Zoya didn't get nerfed. Nothing of those really got nerfed. So like the champ's still pretty good, I would say. And if you just land a good Q flash, the champ still won't be nice, you know? So that doesn't matter. And Maokai nerf, I mean, this is actually decently big. The saplings, because you don't put points in saplings. So 2 seconds extra is actually a lot because you max like Q and then E. And even if you max E, it's like 2 seconds longer no matter what. So, and even the damage got a bit nerfed. But yeah, beside that, honestly, the next biggest ones like Viego, 3 AD, bonus damage to monsters, 5 less, but that's completely fine. The clear is still super fast. Like, honestly, this doesn't matter. Because essentially the AD that you get is making up for the Q nerf. So that is, it doesn't matter. The clear is even like slightly faster maybe even. Because like 3 AD is more than this, you know? So it's like fine. And as for Xin Zhao, honestly this Q buff is kind of useless. You max WE anyway on Xin Zhao. So it's gonna be a buff at like level 13 or something, but like that's like so useless. So this doesn't even matter. Like 0.3 armor at level 10, you get 3 armor extra. Sure. That's like whatever, you know. And as for items, I mean Shadow Flame actually got buffed, and I think this buff is kind of nice. It went from 35 to 40%, and extra magic pen, which is really good, and the item didn't get more expensive. So like, it's actually not too shabby. And it's like a little bit more AP, a little bit less gold Ludens, right? Storm Surge got more magic pen as well, but I don't think many junglers should go this item. So it's kind of whatever. So essentially, the tier list that I have is that Sona is S+. No, but for real though, I think all of these champs that I have in S are almost always solo champions, as long as you have a decent team comp around it. That's what I think. As long as you have like a decent team comp, these champs are very solid. But of course, Kha'Zix gets a little bit countered by champs like Lee Sin, for example, and those champs become slightly worse, right? And Nidalee without CC support becomes slightly worse, but if you can play these champs to the fullest potential, I think it's actually not bad. And yeah, I mean, as for Jarvan, right, the champ becomes S+ if you play against immobile champions. But let's say you play against Dashes, and you play, let's say, against a strong or good 1v1 jungler, let's say like he's playing against Kinder or something, then it's not like S+, right? Everything's situational, but most of the times the S list are very solid champions. And as for the A+ list, I just think these champs on A+ are, in the right situations, S as well, for sure. But these champs as well on A+ are very solid. Actually, why have Elise A+? I mean, Elise A+ is like, it's the reason why I put it A+, because if people play Jarvan and Viego a lot, then I think Elise becomes higher priority, because essentially these champs got buffed, right? Which is why I put her A+. Usually I'll put her A, but let's say a lot of people play her in jungle, then I'll put her A+. But in general, I think she belongs in A though. So I'll put her on A actually. And yeah, I mean, Karthus, still solo champion. Phil 6 in the right situations, S+. Talia, this champion of CC support and AD mid laner is actually really good. I think you could even argue put her on S in those some cases, but I think A plus like sold for her, you know. And Brent, despite the nerf, this champ only the nerf could clear a bit, but you still clear around 320, and team fight is still very OP. So I would still rate this champ super good, but it's better in slower games where you play around objectives / team fights than Clown Fiestas. So in lower elos, it's like less recommended, but in high elo, this champ is still very good. And Hecarim, I mean, all of these champs are like pretty sold overall. And A is basically just like champs that are solid, and they can actually easily move to A plus. Some of these champions, let's say like Diana of Yasuo, right? It can become an S against immobile champions, or let's say Rengar, right? Let's say you can easily pick some side lane, can easily become A plus or even S, right? So these are more situational, and Zac as well. Like it's like very situational, but I wouldn't pick the A champs comfortably without knowing enemy champions. Like none of these almost. I wouldn't be like, let's pick Diana or Graves and Mundo or Elise and be like, hey, I'm super happy, right? Because some drops is just like hard to play. So yeah, that's how I value these champions. And B is just like, I mean, some maybe B are like A, but like I feel like these champs are just weak. They're not that strong in general. They're just like there. Rammus, of course, can even be like S plus, I guess triple AD, but yeah, like in general, this is a very slow champion, a bit of an NPC, and not that great. And why put Wukong even on B? I don't actually even think the champ is that bad. It should be on A, but considering solo queue is like a Fiesta, the champ is clear so slow and is so reliant on the ultimate that he can't always fight, which is why I actually put her on B tier. Well, I feel like if games are slow and controlled, honestly, I would even put on A plus easily, or A at the very least, right? But because solo queues is like so Fiesta and it can be everywhere and its clear is kind of slow, not as a big fan of this champion. And yeah, Timo is just well on the legal champion, you know, like people are playing him at the moment a bit, but guys, how is this champion even a joiner? It shouldn't be a thing, but yeah. But this is basically based off having good team comp as well. You don't want to pick these champions with like a bad team comp. You don't want to have Viego with a Z mid lane, right? You want to actually have like decent champions. And as long as you have decent champs with these champs, you can comfortably pick these champions. And I think Jarvan, even like bad team compositions, like it's almost like solid. Maybe in some games it's like A tier or like A, you know, or whatever, but you guys get the idea, right? That's how I evaluate these champs, and this is like my tier list for 14.18.